Home sales fell nearly 6% in July as housing market slides into a recession. This is it, guys. The moment we basically been waiting for, we are starting to see the bubble pop. The housing bubble cannot no longer sustain the prices that it has for the last 2 years. As you remember, guys, we had record low mortgage rates, and record low inventory, which caused basically the prices to balloon. We had way too many buyers, way too few sellers, and prices in certain areas went up to like 50%. I think Las Vegas, which is a major city in the United States, saw incredible price increases. Now, here's the problem, guys. We ended up printing so much money, we created a huge inflation mess, and now the feds are freaking out. And when they freak out, they are like crazy because they have so much power, right? So what are they doing? Basically, what did they do? They lower rates to basically nothing, and to help combat coronavirus, and suddenly now they're raising the rates through the roof, and it is killing the housing market. I want to repeat, it is absolutely killing the housing market. Now, I'm not blaming them, okay? Just want to make that clear. We are in a very bad situation, very, very bad situation. And I understand, yes, the feds did create it by lowering interest rates, but we had coronavirus. The whole world was falling apart at that time. Nobody knew what was going on, and they saw that governments across our state governments and our national government, they were all our federal government. They were basically closing everything down. They were shutting down everything, basically, all these regulations, and the feds freaked out because there was now no economic activity. So their incentive was to basically lower the Fed rate to zero and cause mortgage banking to basically able to lend out mortgage loans for like 2-3%, right? Which is incredibly low. A lot of people refinanced, took that money. A lot of people bought homes, but because it was so, everyone was so scared, they didn't know what was going on. Remember, construction halted because of the whole shutdowns. So what ended up happening was we had such low supply. Nobody wanted to move during coronavirus, and the lack of supply and the ability of some people having access to basically free money, it just threw the entire real estate market out of whack. And it's probably going to be the one thing that does bring down the rest of the economy. Because remember, recession starts at the housing market. Once the housing market goes, all bets are off. Everything will come tumbling down, and it's almost like a domino effect. And we're starting to see it now, with July, now, in the middle of August, as things kept slowing down. We're going to see the reports come in about a month for August, and it's probably gonna get worse. Remember, guys, we're going into winter, which statistically lowers the market because nobody likes to move in the winter. A lot of single family homes get bought by families, and nobody wants to take their kids out of school, right? Unless you're gonna be in the same school district. That's different. But just think about, if you do have kids out there, think about having to move and having to go to school. Right, having the kids to go to school is just a pain in the butt. Now, it makes it even worse when they have to go to a new school district. So basically, housing slows down considerably during the winter. And with this situation, it might make it even drop even faster. Why? My prediction is we're going to go into a slow retail Christmas season, holiday season. Those companies are going to then report their earnings come January, February. They're not going to be that good. It's going to cause a lot of panic. The housing market is already going to be slowing down drastically. And it's basically, we're going to see a scenario where stocks are going to get slashed. And we're probably going to have, a certain percentage of layoffs. But then also remember, guys, I've been talking about this, is that companies like Zillow, right, Redfin, BlackRock, they've been going around because they had access to free money, just like everyone else, but they were like public companies, so they could borrow a lot more. So basically, they went in and they bought a bunch of houses, right, in our communities. And sight unseen, they were just like, the house would go on the market and they would just put an offer, almost like a computer putting an offer. Anyways, it created, it basically made the supply issue even worse. So what can happen, right, when we see the stock market start to tumble and we see a company, public companies, Zillow and whatnot, their stocks start to tumble? What do you think that's going to happen, right? They're going to want to, they don't want to see their stock crash. They might have to get rid of their inventory. If they start selling those homes that they bought during the pandemic for a loss, and it's just going to add the supply to the market. Now remember, we're seeing houses just sit on the market longer and longer and longer. So what we could see is these public companies that just bought a whole mess of properties, they're going to dump them back into the market. It's going to increase the supply and make the prices drop even faster. That's kind of what I'm saying. Now let's jump back into this article real quick and let's talk about it. Sales of previous owned homes fell nearly 6% in July compared with June, according to a monthly report from the National Association of Realtors. Sales dropped 20% from the same month a year ago. In terms of economic impact, we are surely in a housing recession because builders are not building. You know, builders are not building for two reasons. Well, three reasons in my opinion. Land is too expensive right now, so they don't want to buy the land. Two is inflation is making all the materials cost a lot more, okay? A lot more. Now, we did see the price of lumber come down. You know, it did crash, but as a whole, everything else is very expensive. And third is employees, right? You need somebody to build the house. And as you remember, we had the Great Resignation. When coronavirus basically shut down our economy, a lot of people got laid off and a lot of people were at home, and they realized that they kind of hated their job. And they realized, like, when they started getting some COVID relief money, they realized that, man, like, my job was kind of ripping me off. So when everything started coming back on, everything started turning on, and these employers were like, hey, come back to work, employees were like, no, not for that price. I'm not doing that. You know, I tasted what money feels like, you know, from the government's COVID relief assistance. And no, I don't want to go back to your crappy job making crappy money. So it has literally forced businesses across the entire country, okay, all types of businesses have to raise their wages. So that essentially is fueling inflation. Also, people are making more money, products are becoming more expensive, and it's actually creating a whole mess of problems. So between those three things, you know, I could see why builders are not building. Too expensive for the land, too expensive for materials, and too expensive for workers and employees. So that is basically what's happening. Unfortunately, the sad part is that now we have a situation where now we have less supply, because what we want is more supply. That's the only thing that's going to make these prices come down. And remember, we are in a crazy bubble right now. The prices in certain areas in the last 2 years have gone up 50%. Housing should not move that fast. I know, like, housing is not like crypto where we want to see, Bitcoin go from 25 to 50 overnight. Housing cannot do that, okay? Housing is very, very stable and it's long term. So when we see like quick, swings, when they go higher, it is a clear indication that we're in a bubble and it's going to pop. And we had a crazy bubble in the last year. So, essentially, I believe things are going to come down. I believe we're starting to see the pop. I believe that people are already calling it a recession. And we're going to go into what I believe is a slow holiday season, which is only going to make things speed up the process of basically the economy slowing down. Now, I want to kind of hear your thoughts. I mean, do you agree with what I have to say? Are you in the market to buy a house? How's your neighborhood looking? I mean, is it still pretty expensive? I could tell you, if we jump real quick into the Redfin weekly housing market data and we see the median sale prices. So they were coming down. I believe this was the peak in June. They were coming down in July. And then we saw the feds, get super freaked out. I mean, the banks get super freaked out. They kind of lowered mortgage rates a little bit, and then it kind of stabilized the price. But when you look at the median listing price, it's not going as low as the actual sale price. So what we're seeing is just more houses sitting on the market. Now people are starting to get it. You could start seeing the drops. People are saying, hey, you know what? If I want to sell my house, I'm gonna have to lower the price. Again, we are now in a buyer's market. We're no longer in a seller's market. This was the seller's market right here. They could ask for anything that they want. I mean, in just like 2-3 months, a house went from 340 all the way to 380. That is the FOMO. That's people fearing that they're gonna miss out. Well, these people that bought right here are probably going to lose quite a bit of money in the next 6 months because they're gonna most likely be underwater. In my opinion, I'm seeing housing, dropping down to 2019 levels. So we're probably gonna shave about 20, 30, 40% off in certain markets. It's gonna have to monitor it. But yeah, that's the story, guys. Now, I want to just say for everyone who's been watching my videos and supporting my channel, a huge thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your likes. It really does mean a lot to me. If you're new to my channel and you like my videos, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button and go ahead and like and leave a comment. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys and I'll see you on the next video.